Bonus!
Piper Leo! Crew! What the hell is going on? Look out! Piper, now!
Here are these words. Hear the rhyme.
Crew, Piper, page, book!
Hear now the words of the witches.
Keep it going, Phoebe.
Hear now the words of the witches.
The words of the witches. The words of the witches.
Crew, Piper, page, keep chanting.
Hear now the words of the
Keep it
witches.
going, Phoebe. Keep it going.
Hear now the words of the
Keep chanting.
Words of the witches.
Hear now the words.
The words of the witches. The story.
Crew, Piper, page, book! Keep chanting.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Keep chanting.
What ass backward spell did you guys cast?
This is Kevin, and welcome to Words of the Witches.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Piper, page, book!
The words of the witches. The words of the witches. The words of the witches. Hear now the words of the witches.
Keep chanting.
Hear now the words of the witches.
All right. So welcome to Words of the Witches. This is bonus episode 21. Today, joining me is Troy, all the way from Australia, the future. Hi, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so for people who may not be aware of you, if you're a Charmed fan, you've probably seen him around. He's the one with all the tattoos of the Charmed ladies. But give a little introduction about yourself.
So my name is Troy. I'm from Australia, and I'm a huge fan of the show Charmed, as most of you are aware. My passion for this show started when it first aired down under in October the 7th, 1989, 98.
98.
Jet
Is that
lag's
when
still
is that when it
kicking in.
aired in Australia? Did it air the same time
It
as
did.
America?
Yeah,
Okay.
it did, yeah. The jet lag's still kicking in, so bear with me. And I've been a fan since I was 10 years old, and I've just followed that passion since.
So we're the same age.
We're the same age.
Yeah. How exciting. So we've been there when it was all new and fresh and happening.
Absolutely, definitely. I still remember that moment. It was amazing. It was
Yeah.
magical.
Magical. Yeah. Seen that trailer and like the rest is history.
Well, see, down here, we didn't really get the trailer for it as big as what you guys did. Because it started at like 10:30 for us at night when the
Oh,
first
wow.
season started. And before that, it was Buffy. So Buffy was huge here. So Buffy ended, and then it was Charmed straight after. So it was like bang, 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 because you had like Xena and Hercules, and then
Oh,
Buffy,
sure.
and then Charmed. So we were hit with it all at once. So it was huge for us.
What a time.
What a time! If only we could go back.
Yeah. Yeah. So this episode, we're going to talk about 90s Con, which just happened September 13th through the 15th, 2024 in Daytona. Oh my gosh. What a series of memories we've had that weekend.
It was insane. It
Yeah.
was. I've been to many conventions, but this one, even though it being their first one in Daytona, it was still incredible. Like the atmosphere that they still brought to the convention was insane. Like I loved it. It was so much fun.
Yeah. You traveled far to do, and
Traveled far. Did the
we're
whole
gonna
travel
talk.
in under 5 days.
That's insane. How many hours was that traveling?
On the way there, it was 30 hours, and then on the way back, it was about 28.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, and the last flight was the delayed one to get home. Every other flight was good, but that last one delayed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was
Well,
worth it though.
it was worth it. So yeah, I've been to a lot of conventions too. I've met them a number of times, but this one was super special, partly because of the way we got to honor Shannon. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. First, I want to talk about Friday. How was you were there before the convention started, but how was your Friday?
Friday was good. I was interested to see what was set up, how it was going to be, because I've only been to one other con in America, so it was the complete opposite, which was at Sacramento. And that was very similar to the ones that we have in Australia. But 90s Con was very different. I think the biggest thing that hit me on Friday would have been seeing Shannon's memorial, because I wasn't expecting that. And being where it was right next to Holly's table was very overwhelming. Other
Yeah.
than that, Friday was great. Like, wasn't too busy, was able to see everything. I wish they had more stores though. So that was probably their only downfall. But they explained to me that it was because it was their first con there. So trying to get people, to buy little booths
Gotcha.
was quite difficult for them.
Okay. Yeah, there weren't a lot of vendors, but yeah, for those who weren't there, they have autograph tables and signings for the people that are there, the guests that are there. And they had a booth for Shannon with her memorial banner up, and you see that and it strikes you. I mean, you are just get an instant emotion, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, it did.
I
I
think
had a moment where I teared up.
it felt more real.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
But this has actually happened.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Um, But yeah, and Friday I didn't go see anybody. I had a few photo ops that day, and then Saturday is when I did all my meetings.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun just seeing people that I followed on the internet for a long time. Charm
Right.
Collector and Ethan and like all these people. Galen was there. It was super exciting to see them for the first time, meet them for the first time
For sure.
after talking for years. Um,
Absolutely. It was surreal.
yeah. I think my favorite moment that day was when I was doing the photo ops and I got like out done with Dorian's photo op and I kind of got lost, and then behind the uh wall I guess was Jennifer, and she's like, "Oh, there's Kevin." Because we met earlier in the year, and I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
"Aren't you freezing?" So that was
No, it
really cool.
wasn't
So I wasn't
cold. It
sure
was
if
good.
yeah. I was so hot running around.
Yeah. That was
Um
insane. They
yeah.
definitely fixed that on the weekend. Friday was all over the place, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that they fixed it straight away.
But now let's talk about Saturday. Um, I did all of my meetings. I gave all of them a copy of the Charmed musical, and I wrote a little note to them. I made Holly cry. That was really like really nice. I'm like, I felt proud that they can have that and just read it or not read it, but just even having that, um, and having the note was really
Yeah.
important to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah. Brian he flipped through and went right to the song "The Elders Are Dicks," and he just started laughing.
Yeah. Love that. You probably would have read it on the flight
Yeah.
for
So,
sure.
um, but we had the House of Hallowell panel live. I was not
We
prepared for
did.
this.
I don't think any of us were. We just thought it was
Yeah.
just going to be a bit of fun, bit of laughter, a bit of banner, but
Yeah.
definitely wasn't.
I mean, I had a feeling it would be emotional, but I just didn't know how emotional it was going to
Yeah.
be. Um, it felt like we were all on the same page, fans, cast, just sharing their love
Yeah.
for Shannon and who we've missed, and we're moved or touched by it. Yeah, so many things, so many feelings.
Yeah. I agree.
Um, it will forever be like described as epic because that's the word we use, but like,
Yeah.
and then having Brian Austin Green there besides too, knowing how important he was to her, that was really neat.
That made it even more surreal. And
Hmm.
um, listening to his stories was comforting. It was nice. It was very good to see him on that stage with them.
Hmm.
I
There
got
was a
to
moment.
speak with him and Ian on Friday,
Okay.
just briefly, and then I didn't give out any of the service cards until Saturday because I wanted to make Friday them comfortable, because I knew that most of them were quite nervous about being there, being the biggest con they've done since she passed. But I remember on Saturday when I went back up to see them, I didn't think I could make grown men cry, but Ian was in a lot of tears and Brian just couldn't stop hugging me.
Mm,
They were very overwhelmed, but they appreciated everything that we're doing for them. And for Shannon, of course.
yeah.
Just chokes me
There
up just thinking about it.
Absolutely. There was a moment during that panel that really resonated with me, and it was Dorian's story about how, he was going to go on stage and he said something about like, well, that's how Shannon is, and that, and Shannon took it the wrong way, thinking that he was falling into that belief that she was difficult. And she said,
Yeah,
not you, Dorian.
that broke me.
That, yeah, that was really hard.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but it was a good story to tell because Dorian got to say what he really felt about her and what he
yeah,
really thinks about her. Um,
yeah.
and like Rose
That's
followed
the
up and
problem with the
saying,
media.
yeah, Rose followed up saying, I know how that is on both sides, and it's
Yeah,
terrible. It's a terrible position to be in.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I agree.
and then just hearing the experiences and outpour of love from the fandom, all of their experiences. I mean,
Right.
I knew I couldn't go up there. I knew it would be a mess and probably would not be able to form sentences. So brave,
Oh,
let people like you.
uh, it was so hard. Um, like I said in the speech, I hate using the word speech, but um, like I said, I only spoke once publicly, and that was at my mum's funeral. So I had to do this on behalf of, everyone really. And I had so much planned to say, but and then when I looked straight up at that stage and I seen that Holly was just crying, I was just like, gone. As soon
Yeah,
as she cries, it's gone. Everything that I think about is completely gone. I just went with it, and hopefully it sounded all right.
it was great.
Yeah,
And there's so many moments that people shared that were just so nice. Like sad stories, funny stories, like just
yeah.
all these memories. And the one that said like you're beautiful, you're a really pretty girl, and like people
I
I just
think
loved it. And go ahead.
the one that sits with me the most was so sorry, I can't remember who it was that was speaking, but somebody said we didn't only lose her once, we lost her twice. That
Yeah. Hmm.
that is what got me. That's where I was like, well, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
really that
That
stuck
was,
with me
I
because
mean,
it's so true.
it's so true
Yeah,
because we all felt that grief. If you're really in Trump, you felt the grief over Prue.
yeah,
And this just hit so much harder.
yeah, totally.
Uh, but it felt like we were one. I felt like, we were all feeling the exact same admiration and sorrow
Yeah,
together. And that
yeah,
was really powerful.
agreed.
Ah,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
then go ahead.
no, you go, you go.
I was going to move on to the vigil, but if you have something else to say about
Yeah.
this,
No, no, no. That's
okay.
everything you said was perfect.
But then we move on to the vigil that happened afterward, which you organized. So I
Yeah.
want to talk about how you got that going and what that experience was like.
So I'll try and make it short. So in I think it was when did I see Holly? April in New Zealand, I think it was. And the guys that I brought back with me down to America had never met any of them but Holly and Alyssa. And I was like, I think we need to go see Shannon, like, because I had conversations privately with Holly um, about Shannon and, not thinking that she'd be able to travel as far as Australia to visit.
Yeah.
And we were like, we need to make that move and get down there and, and see her. And we had conversations back and forth. And then I think it was like the Tuesday that we returned back home from New Zealand and they announced that all of them were going to 90s Con. And I have a group chat, as you can imagine. And we were like, this is it. This is what we're going to do. And then we just continued from there, counting it down, getting excited, all of those things. And then the night, because it was nighttime for us, daytime for you guys, but the night, I'm an early bird. So usually I'm in bed at like 8 o'clock to go to sleep because I'm an old man.
Mhm.
But something just kept me up, like kept me awake, kept me awake, kept me awake. And then I think it was like 1 a.m. in the morning. And I just quickly popped back on my phone before heading to bed. And the first post that popped up was from people saying that she had passed. And I was like, fucking what?
This isn't real.
straight onto
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah.
This is not real. This is somebody who's disgusting that's posted this, rah, rah, rah. But and then reality kicked in that it was actually real and it happened. And the first thing I did was call the group chat and just be like, guys, you need to get online. Like, this is what's happened. And then from there, it was going back and listening to her podcast and listening to her being prepared for it to happen. And something just triggered me where she was like, she wanted a funeral where everyone was happy, everyone was together, and she wanted her fans to be involved. And I was like, I think this is where we need to come together and do something. And I just said to the guys, I was like, what if we just do this? What if we just get everyone there? Who cares about any of the legal issues about being on the beach and all of those sort of things? Let's just do it. And then I went bang, posted it like 2 days later, and it exploded. I didn't expect it to be as crazy as it was, and I'm overwhelmed and I'm very appreciative of it. And then I had to look at like the legal side of things because it isn't in my country. We can do those things here, where down there, totally different. You had to get a license to be on the beach, all of those sort of things. You had to get approval, like all of it. And then not knowing the actual location properly, because obviously I've never been there. So finding out from people who live there, you know, a lot of people behind the scenes were very helpful with getting this set up too. So, you know, kudos to everyone who helped set it up, because it wasn't just myself, it was a lot of people. And just gets overwhelming. It was so magical. It's hard to explain. Like, obviously all the cast were definitely invited and they all were aware of it before, because I wanted to get approval that somebody was happy. Because if one of them said, do not do this, it would have been closed down immediately. And I'll go to a story that I received, like a message the other day in a second. But no video, no photo, nothing will ever do its justice for what actually happened that night. That night was very magical, and seeing those cast members show up and seeing Holly show up was incredible, and it meant the world to not just me, but to all of us. And I hate using the word closure, but it felt like closure for all of us. And I think even speaking with Brian on Sunday, he was like, all of them feel so much lighter. So I think it turned out very well, and it's all thanks to everyone, not just me, but everyone who showed up online, on the streams, everywhere.
But thank you for
I could do something for everyone.
all of your efforts were not for naught.
Not for nothing. Are you jet lagged?
Well, it's like not for naught, you know.
Yeah.
But that's but it was something I truly didn't know I needed. And it felt like I had the opportunity to go to a proper funeral for her, and that's something I feel like everybody needs when they lose someone they love. And you know, I've never grieved a celebrity like this because Shannen, it was
Likewise.
a particular person who just really got into your psyche, and it wasn't just for me or you. It's so many people, because of you know how people grew up and how they've seen her and the experiences they've had with her. So she's definitely a force. And this vigil, you know, it was like cast, fans, friends, all together, you know, sharing the light that Shannen gave us in a way. It was kind of metaphorical. But she sparked that on all of us, and here we are just sharing it and being there and being present.
And that's all I wanted. And she deserved it. She deserves more than that, but she deserves something.
You know, and it didn't feel, there's no like status. There's no like, oh, you're a celebrity. We're just there, you know, sharing the moment. You know, hugging and being, and it was amazing. And very emotional, obviously. So
I think it was after, because I was wanting to make sure everything was perfect for her. I think the emotions for me were afterwards, because I was like, okay, now it's happened. Everyone's very happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, the emotions afterwards is what hit me. And going back to what I said before, I received a message from somebody who I thought was actually a fake account, and it was actually Sean who contacted me. He and his daughter and Mama Rosa had all been involved in watching it. They were very upset that they didn't get to make it. They weren't aware of the event until afterwards, which breaks my heart, because I would have loved to have invited them, of course. But we've had some deep messages back and forth.
That's nice.
And I've sent them the service cards yesterday. I sent them to them because they were very, they really wanted to be part of it. And I sent them some photos and all of that, just so they have their own little memory bank themselves. But
Oh, that's great.
yeah, the messages were like, this is fake. This is not real. Prove to me that you're who you are.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, yeah, because I saw Mama Rosa comment on the videos and everything, and that was really nice. I'm glad that she became aware of it, at least at one part, and knows, she was super grateful that we were honoring her in this way, and
that's what was worrying me too, was that they were going to be upset that we did it, but they were so appreciative.
Yeah, I think Shannen would have been really proud.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. It was incredibly healing.
She wouldn't be proud that I've got more tattoos, that's for sure.
So,
but yeah,
but you've definitely made an impact, and you've definitely, made more of a name for yourself because of this, and so it's just, So thank you for. I mean, everyone's thanking you, I'm sure, but it was.
No, I appreciate it. But
something I'll never forget. Yeah,
it was something that I couldn't do on my own.
Yeah,
everyone had to be there, and you all put in your little spark on the streams everywhere, all over the world.
Yeah,
it was amazing. I can't even remember how many people ended up being on the stream. I could only imagine what Rose's was like.
Yeah, because Rose was just there videoing it. She's going all around. She's getting everybody. It was so sweet. And she hugged me afterwards, and she hugged you. She was just so great there. Everyone, all of them were so great to be there. I know Jennifer didn't make it. She probably had to go to bed because she's tired.
She just said, I did ask her, I invited her, and she did explain that, it is a little bit late for her.
Yeah.
But she'll honor her in her own way, which was totally fine. I didn't expect any of them to arrive, to turn up.
Yeah.
Because it is a hard thing to do. And that's what Brian Austin Green said. He was just like, it's really tough. So I just wanted them to know that we were doing something in her honor. Yeah.
And you had this beautiful kind of poster shot of Shannen that we all signed. We got to say our little, way that she inspired us, or a little thoughts of comfort, or something we would have liked to say to her. It was really nice. And you arranged that to go to Mama Rosa.
So it was handed to Holly on Sunday. So I gave it to her, and we didn't speak about it because she started to cry again.
Yeah.
So it's just handed to her. She knows. She'll know what to do with it.
I mean, she's a crier, but that's part of why we love her.
Yeah, that's right. She's just like a mama bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it was a beautiful time, and it's a memory that I'll never forget.
Yeah, me neither. It was,
and I'm very honored to be able to be there for it.
Yeah, definitely one of a kind, and nothing like no other. So it was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had at a convention, and so
likewise.
That's why I felt like this deserved a whole episode, because normally I would just talk about it before another episode, but this,
No, it's cool. I appreciate it.
I had to leave Sunday. I didn't get to go to the Charmed panel the next day. So how was that?
Well, they didn't do a Q&A. They just did the host was just asking them questions. As you may have seen already, that the host was trying to ask some personal questions I'm so happy that Rose shut down immediately, because it was just unnecessary.
It's out of touch. Bad taste. Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible timing. This is somebody who is their family that just died. It's not just a character to them. That was their family. That was their sister.
Yeah.
shut it down. And Rose did apologize when we were at the signing table, saying she hoped she didn't come across rude. And I said, what you said was what we were all thinking. So
Yeah.
she was just defending
Mhm.
Shannon's honor, which is what we all wanted. We didn't want to hear it again. We just went through a really bad grieving moment the night before. So
See, what they need to do, because Rose has told me too that she doesn't like moderators. What they need to do is have moderators who are actually fans, who know what they're talking about, who
correct.
know and respect everything that they're about. So
I agree.
let's
Yeah,
get us on
because
there.
these people, yeah, that's right. Come on, what's happening? House of Halliwell, you watching?
Yeah.
But you're right. It needs to be somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, because half the time they don't know what they're on about.
Yeah.
At all.
So, but yeah, I haven't watched the video. I have to watch the video of the panel and see and get
Yeah.
mad, but
Yeah. And I believe that Jenny Garth wasn't too impressed that she wasn't invited.
Oh,
I've heard from the grapevine.
oh, I
Sorry,
did
not
listen
sorry.
to, I mean, I don't know. I know they had some situations, but I did listen to her podcast about Shannon, and I thought it was very sweet what she said, what she and her guest said about grief. I was like, that was really cool. About like how it's a kind of pebble you put in your hold in your pocket, and it gets lighter and lighter as you go, but it's still always
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And you've lost your mom. I've lost my mom. And it's weird that Shannon has that similar feeling. You wouldn't
Yeah.
think that, but the way that she kind of raised us makes sense. So,
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's
yeah.
like losing your parent again.
Hmm. And,
The sad,
you know,
the so thing that I'm proud of though is she fought for so long,
yeah,
and that's what we've got to remember. Like, she was a fighter. She did
she
everything
was.
she possibly could.
And she kept going, you know, the way that she kept making appearances for us and was doing things for us. I feel like in a way that she needed that too, to prove that
Correct.
she was still going and she was alive, and she was getting that positive reinforcement from us, and
I
it
agree.
was giving her as much life seeing us as it was for us, seeing her. So
Yeah,
uh
absolutely. I totally agree with that.
mm. ah
Yeah.
so yeah, 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 she will forever,
Live on.
live on and be in our hearts and
Crew
be in our
lives.
minds. Hmm.
As Holly says, crew lives.
This
So we
isn't
just have to,
goodbye. Yeah.
this isn't goodbye. This is just see you later.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But
Ah,
I'm very honored that everyone got to be there this weekend. Even if you weren't there physically,
mhm.
you were able to be there all over
Yeah,
the
lots of people
world,
were there
no
in
matter what
spirit,
time
and
it was.
they were
Correct.
watching, they were keeping informed, they were commenting. Um, all of us.
Yeah, it was good. It's what I wanted. I wanted everyone to be able to have that moment
Yeah.
because everyone deserves it.
Hmm. Well, I think we said everything we need to say, unless you have anything else that you want to bring up. I don't know.
Um, no, I think that's everything.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
happy that I got to meet everyone there. It was great. I'm
I
glad that I
was
got
really
to meet
excited to
you.
meet you. Yeah, because I've been following you for so many years.
Yeah, likewise. It's
Yeah.
good. It was
Speaking of,
good. It was good to catch up to all those people that
yeah,
you've been talking to for years, and then you're like, oh wow, they actually do. They are real.
they are real. This whole community is so, great to be around each other, and support
Yeah,
each other for the most part.
for the
Um,
most part. For the most
yeah,
part, I think
we'll
people
leave it at
just get too
that.
consumed in people get too consumed in the silliness when
Hmm.
we're meant to be there as a family together, because that's what Charmed is
Exactly.
all about.
Yeah, we
You
don't
know,
need to.
whatever happens outside of that TV series has nothing to do with
Hmm.
us.
Right. Yeah,
Nothing at all. It's about four sisters
we're
that brought us
sisters.
all together and helped us with our lives, like helped us live. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
a lot of people were suffering and having hard times, and that show is what brought them out of that. It's not about
Exactly.
what happened between them outside of that show.
Hmm.
That's what
Their
people have to
drama is not
remember.
our drama. We don't have to take
Correct.
sides.
That's right.
And
There is
just
no sides. It's
yeah,
we love them all equally.
we can support those who brought us so much joy and goodness, and
Yeah,
that's all it's about.
that's right. That's 100% right.
So yeah, I don't need to
It's not
take
about
anybody
picking a
else
side.
down.
No.
So
And that's what some people need to remember, that without that show, we wouldn't be who we all are today. We wouldn't be honoring such a powerful and beautiful woman. We wouldn't be honoring the achievements that all of the rest are doing. Like Alyssa on Broadway, like that is incredible.
right.
Like, she deserves it. She deserves everything.
She's doing
that
so.
she-
I just saw her last night. Actually, I saw her in
Yeah.
Chicago, in New York, and Chicago.
Yeah,
and
in
she
New
was
York
so
and Chicago.
adorable. Yeah,
Yeah,
she was so adorable doing it. And you can tell she was having a lot of fun.
and that's
She
all
threw me a
that we
rose.
oh, beautiful. That's all we want, though. We want her to be happy. We want all of them to be happy.
Exactly.
And we appreciate each and every single one of them for what they've done for us. What I
Absolutely.
personally do. I will never take a side.
Right. Yeah, couldn't say it any better. Oh,
Thank you.
so thank you for being such a wonderful guest.
No, thank you for having me.
Tell all of the listeners where they can follow you if they want to find all of your content.
My Instagram is Troy_story_88 on Instagram. And I believe my TikTok is just Troy Kellahan, KELLAHAN.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank
You
you.
can follow this podcast at Words of the Witches, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Words of Witches on Twitter. And yeah, we will see you soon for another book episode.
Maybe you can come to Australia one day.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Supernova.
Come down
I hear
under.
about those. Yeah, down under.
Down under, bruh.
So fun. Well, I hope to see you again. We'll do all the hugging and all that jazz.
Absolutely. Jazz.
And all that jazz. Speaking of Chicago. So, yeah.
But yeah,
Well, thanks
thank
again.
you for having me. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Much love.
Touch. Bye.